Hey guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. Today has been an interesting morning. This is a little insight into my life. Last night I was watching TV in the bed with the dogs, right? And I love butterscotch chips, right? And I never have them. It's a rare thing. I always forget how much I love them. I happened to be in the supermarket the other day and I bought a bag, like for baking. You just eat the chips. Like you pour them out of the bag into your hand and you eat them and they're really good. And I was like looking at baking recipes online while watching TV and different things like that. So it was late and I folded up the bag. I didn't finish it, obviously. I'm not that bad. But I did have a fair amount of the bag and I folded it in half and closed it and set it on my nightstand. Well, this morning while I was in the restroom, Twinkle Dee and Twinkle Dum decided that the bag would smell too good. And I came out of my bathroom to my bedroom to an empty bag laying in the center of my bed. I mean, completely empty bag of butterscotch chips laying flattened on the bed. And two puppies just like sniffing around the mattress like you wouldn't believe. Was I pissed, to say the least? I mean, first off, I was nervous because I don't know. I know you're not supposed to give a dog chocolate. Like, that's dangerous. And that scared me. But I looked up butterscotch, and I guess they're probably going to get wicked diarrhea. But aside from the sugar, they're okay. They're not supposed to have it, but it's not harmful like caffeine is in chocolate. Like, caffeine can kill a dog. So I was really scared because I had forgotten that they were on the nightstand. Anyways, that's a little insight into my morning this morning. Was the butterscotch bandits got me good this morning. So everybody is troubled here at the household. Anyways, this is the daily forecast for all signs. It is a general reading, so I speak in general terms. You have to figure out where this reading best applies to your life, if at all. If it doesn't apply or doesn't make sense, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're not in a good place or you're not working on something else at this time. Nothing is broken or wrong. Take what you need and leave the rest. If something I say does apply to you, great. Use it. Run with it. Use it to advantage. This is originally created for Monday, the 29th of November, but it's not solely set for that date. There's flexibility and timelessness in all readings, I believe, and so especially mine. So if you're seeing it on a date other than the 29th, still continue to watch it. There might be a message that may apply to a situation in your life. It might give you insight or a breath of fresh air or a new perspective on something that's going on, okay? If you do like my readings, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would love to grow the channel. Hit that thumbs up button and leave me a question or comment. I do read them all. And for those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu on the daily forecast because in there are some house rules that I'd like you to think about. And keep in mind while using my readings, also what decks I use. Speaking of which, we're going to transfer over decks soon. And where to find me on social media. All right, so let's get into this. Another house thing that I want you guys to know, all of the quick and dirty monthly horoscopes are up for the fire signs, earth signs, and air signs, okay? They're all on one singular video, so you're just going to have to watch through the video and see when I pull the cards down. That's obviously when the next sign starts. And I will be shooting water today. So water signs will go up today, or you'll be seeing this tomorrow, for those of you. So on the 28th, the water signs will go up. All right, so this is now for the reading for the 29th. Okay, so let's see what's going on in these cards. I can't believe they ate all my butterscotch. I'm so pissed. Oh my god, it's the Hierophant. What is going on? Okay, so we see the Hierophant. We saw him at the end of last week's reading. We saw him at the end of this week's reading. He really wants to spend time with us. He is Taurian energy. We did have that Taurus full moon like a few weeks ago. So maybe he's just a reminder of that. I'm not exactly sure. He does associate with higher learning institutions, social acceptability, teaching, but with a more spiritual bend, it's like kind of combining our mental wisdom with our spiritual wisdom and then sort of making it all at one. as one, right? He can represent a figure of authority. So if some of you are dealing with a figure of authority, or you find yourself dealing with a figure of authority, that could be part of this reading for you. Um, because we are seeing him an awful lot this week. And in the last 2 weeks, we've seen him 3 times. So that to me is significant. He is Major Arcana, and he is associated with that sign of Taurus, which can be, about, I don't want to say hard work, but it's like, I kind of get a feeling like he's not standing in our way, but he wants us to see him. Whether this is an aspect of him he wants us, like an aspect of ourselves he wants us to rise up to, or an aspect of ourselves we need to adopt or acknowledge, right? Where do we fit in? Are we in authority in our lives? Are we spiritually connected in our lives? Or are we sort of just like wallowing around, maybe taking life as it comes rather than sort of discerning it, if that makes sense, right? Like, do I want this experience in my life? Is this experience spiritually fulfilling to me, right? Underneath him, we have the Justice card. Remember that. So that's Major Arcana too. So I feel like big, where we're putting our mind and our thoughts, what we're communicating is key and important today. It could have an effect on others. The Hierophant certainly would do so, right? Justice would also. So be mindful of that. I do feel like there's something about, between Justice and the Hierophant, there's something about, are we doing the right things for the right reasons? And that's more of a question posed to yourself. Libra is about balance. Taurus is about dedication. So it's like, are we maintaining that balance, or are we like totally out of whack? Are we all over the place? Or are we grounded and like intelligent in our decisions right now? That should be our focus. And he's here to sort of remind us that we have the authority to do that, to be that, to express that. Does that make sense? And so moving forward through this day, find ways and places where not only can you learn from the environment or the situations or the people around you, but you can also teach them through like sort of spiritual loving knowledge. You have that within you. And I feel like Justice also has that within her in a weird way. Like, in other words, if there's something that's not right in your world, I kind of get this feeling, and I think I said it with yesterday's Sunday reading, right? It's like, let's not sink down to that level this week. The Hierophant has this sort of, I don't know that I want to call it a pedestal that he sits upon, but he's sort of up, his wisdom puts him above the fray, right? What we know, what we've learned, and Justice too, right? We should be able to utilize these two cards to kind of rise up out of any sort of complications, dramas, anything that might be coming at us that feels less than us. That's okay. Let it feel less than us, and let it inform you that it's less than you. The word is curiosity. I love this bird. He's like in a place where he's not supposed to be, checking out them boots, knocking them boots. But I always feel like this card tells us to push just a little bit further, right? Especially with the Hierophant next to it and Justice. Check things out around you. Watch things. Learn from the environment. Learn from the behaviors of others. Are their words matching their deeds? Are their actions in alignment with their words? You're smart enough and savvy enough to figure out whether it is or isn't, right? And so that curiosity helps us to maybe see that. It helps us to understand that. I also think that there's an aspect of curiosity about like exploring this sort of vibe of the Hierophant. In other words, exploring our ability to teach, exploring our ability to expand our knowledge, exploring our ability to ground in our knowledge base. as to who we are, what we know, and the value of that. And then to sort of wield that like justice's sword, right? To let ourselves sort of lead with that. What's that noise the cat's making? Are you okay, Svenny? And let's look to the grounding stone. Okay. We saw this also, I believe, last week too. It's focus. Laugh is the grounding stone underneath this focus. I feel like it's interesting because the Hierophant and focus and curiosity all feel like, where's our attention being placed? What are we looking at? What are we seeing around us? Being curious and open to it, being willing to have a laugh about it, don't take it too seriously, but also being sort of like intelligent enough and aware enough, strong enough, stable enough, that would be the Hierophant too, and justice, to not allow it to affect us. There might be some like goofy stuff going on around us right now. Maybe people not behaving up to expectation, or people not behaving as they should, or as they say they are, or as they mean, if that makes sense. And so keep that focus about you and that intelligence, that wisdom. Ask questions is sort of like what I get from curiosity. What can we learn today through maintaining that focus and paying attention and being smart, right? That might just be the message that justice brings us today, or the balance, the awareness that she swings back into effect underneath all of this. That is your forecast for the day, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a question or comment. Subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. We'll see how this ebbs and flows and changes. All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.